right, guys, how you doing? I'm Shawn Cheek, the web piano teacher. Welcome to my studio. In this lesson, we're going to have 10 steps that you're going to learn to help you play from any chord sheet, not just this one. And at the same time, we're going to learn an awesome song, Holy Forever, the Chris Tomlin version. I grew up with the Michael W. Smith version, which many of you probably did. But the Chris Tomlin version is great too. We transpose it down here from D flat so you don't have to play in a bunch of flats to the key of C, no sharps, no flats. Let's get to it. So step one is to look at the chord symbols that you have over the lyrics. You know, you get a lyric sheet and you have these chords here, F, A minor, G, C over E. All right, so the first thing you have to understand is that there's only 7 letters in the musical alphabet. I have them written out here kind of over and over. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over. And it just keeps going all the way up and down the piano. Only 7 letters, okay? And they're just named over and over again. Now, when you see a chord symbol like F, okay, F major chord, if it doesn't have an M next to it or a dim, diminished, or sus4 or something, it's just a plain, we assume, plain vanilla F major chord. This is what you do. You look at your musical alphabet and you do an Oreo cookie thing. You do F, A, C, and the formula is letter, skip a letter, letter, skip a letter, letter. You can do that for any chord, not just the F chord. Did you know that? All F chords are going to have FAC. I don't care if it's F sharp diminished, F7, F augmented, F add 9. It's going to have the foundation of the 3 letters FAC. Now, you'll have to put flats and sharps on some things to account for the quality of the chord, but the fact that it's FAC does not change. Okay, so we play FAC on the piano here. We can play it here. We can play it here or down low. It's an FAC chord because that's the ingredients of any F chord, not just this one, in any song. Okay, now we go to the next one. Let's spell our chords. That's our step 1 is chord spellings. So A minor, okay, we'll talk about later why it's the difference between a minor and a major chord. Minor chords kind of sound sad as opposed to happier chords that are major. Okay, but A minor is not tricky. All right, I'm going to switch to A minor here for you so you can see it. We do the same thing. We Oreo cookie this thing, A, C, E. Those are the letters in any A chord. I can't stress this enough. Any A chord has A, C, E. Okay, no matter what comes after it, you don't understand, sharp 9 or whatever. ACE is the foundation of any and all A chords. Okay, so you got that one. That's our A. Let's do it on G just for practice. Switch it to G major, right? We assume major unless there's something after it tells us different. So a G major chord, we Oreo cookie this thing and we get GBD. Okay, same formula. Letter, skip a letter, letter, skip a letter, letter. That's how we get it. All G chords have GBD. And you need to memorize these chord spellings. And your first thought is, oh, how can I do that? Guys, there's only 7. Okay? C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B, F, A, C, G, B, D, A, C, E, B, D, F. I said them fast there. But there's only 7 because there's only 7 letters to begin with. And you can start on each one and spell a chord. You know how to spell all your chords once you learn those 7. And like I said, you got to count for flats and sharps and stuff according to different chord qualities. But that's the basis of it. Now we do a C chord. I know it says C over E. Let's not worry about the over E yet. Let's just look at the C chord part, and we'll do it again. You probably already know a C chord if you've ever played piano. Oreo cookie this thing, C, E, G, okay? And then that's how you spell any C chord. So memorize that, okay? And that's, the A minor and the G are just repeating. So, yeah, there's the C, E, G. I don't know if you saw it before. There it is. Okay, so that's what I want you to try to memorize, these chord spellings in this song, because you're going to find them in other praise and worship songs all the time, okay? FAC, ACE in an A minor, GBD in a G, CEG in a C chord, okay? That's very key that you start to have those, grouped in your mind like that. All right, so that's step 1. Step 2 is inversions. We're going to play in a second, so just hang on. And I got a treat for you. The backing track that you heard I did for the whole song, I'm going to play that backing track later without me playing so you have something to practice with on this video so you can feel like you're really playing with a praise and worship band. You just crank it up and play right along. Mess up, just start over, okay? So inversions is the next thing we have to look at, because when I showed you the F chord, okay, you probably thought, okay, there's FAC, but look, this says FAC, Shawn. How can that be an F chord? Because FAC are the ingredients of the chord. Think of it like this. If I have a pot of soup and it's just sitting there, okay, and then I go take a spoon and I stir it around, did it change what soup it was? No, it's still the same soup, even though it's organized a little bit differently. Well, that's how an F chord is, or any chord. I can change the letters around. I can have ACF or CFA. Doesn't matter as long as the ingredients and DNA of the chord are in there. So FAC will be present in the chord in some form or fashion. So we play inversions because it makes things sound smoother. If I played an F chord here and I hopped around and did an A, and then I went down here to do a G, and I'm moving all over the place, it sounds disjunct and not smooth. But if I learn my inversions, then I have smooth chord progressions. That's why we do inversions, okay? That's the importance of learning them. So this first one is an F chord, and you can know that by the F, the F here. There's an F in the bass, okay? We hadn't talked about the bass note, but when you look at a chord, there's two things you should think of. It tells you two things. That chord symbol, F, tells you what octave to play in your left hand and what chord to play in your right. 99% of praise and worship playing or pop rock playing is octave in the left hand and chord in the right hand. That's just how it is. And there's our F chord, but it's not FAC, it's ACF. Why? Because it's in an inversion. And I'm going to show you that here. There we go. Pull that up. So FAC, what I'm going to do is flip this F up here, and that's what we call first inversion. Okay, but before we do that, I want you to understand that any chord is going to have a root, a third, and a fifth of the chord. Okay, the F is the root because it's the name of the chord. The A is called the third, not because it's 3 notes away, because it's 3 letters away. F, G, A. Okay? And the C is called the fifth because it's 5 letters away, not 5 notes. F, G, A, B, C is 5 total, and that's the fifth. Any chord has root, third, and fifth in it, okay? Now, I'm giving you information here that maybe you're not necessarily going to think about when you're playing, but it's good to have the knowledge so that it makes sense to you when you're playing. When you dissect a chord, you can see the root, third, and fifth, and you will start to see those things given enough time. So now I'm going to invert this to first inversion. Now it becomes ACF. That's the way it is up there at the top. That's the way we played it. Okay, it's an inversion. And then your next question is, Shawn, well, how I know which inversion to play? Well, you just kind of mess around and you see what feels good. You start in the middle of the piano. Most chords are just kind of played around middle C, a little higher, a little lower maybe, and it's personal taste. If I played a different inversion on an F chord, as long as it's an F chord, it's okay. All right, so I'm just picking that one because it kind of fits what we're doing here. So that's an inversion, an F chord. Okay, if I went to a second inversion, we don't have that in the song, but I'm just going to show you. I'm going to flip this A here. We're just recycling the chord, and that's called second inversion. And you can do this with any of the chords. I'm just going to do it with one more to show you how it's all the same. We're not doing it with every chord because this lesson would take forever. It might take forever anyway. But I want you to notice that the root is still F. The third of the chord is still A, and the fifth is still C, even though it's on the bottom. Okay, and you see those relationships only when it's in root position FAC. Okay, that's the root position, and this is an inversion of it. All right. Any chord can be done this way, and we're going to do one more. We're going to do the A minor just to show you. All right, so there's the root position, it's called, where it's nice and neat, Oreo cookie style. ACE, there's the root, third and fifth, because they're 3 letters away, 5 letters away, measured from the root. Now, if I take this A, flip it up here, then I get my first inversion, okay? CEA. So that's another way to play an A minor. Here's the root position way. There's only one more way. There's the second inversion, because there's only 3 ways to play a note with 3 letters as far as inversions go. Okay, and there's the second inversion, EAC. So I flipped it again, and you see the root, the third, and the fifth. The point is, when I'm playing, I don't think about, what inversion am I in? Where's the root third and fifth in this chord? Don't think about that at all. I only think the spelling of the chord. So when you play F, as long as you think FAC, no matter how it's arranged, when you play A minor, as long as you think ACE, no matter how it's arranged, you're fine. You're just kind of unscrambling the letters real quick in your mind, like a three-letter word scrambled. If I put up CTA, you could rearrange that and spell cat because your brain just does that quick. Same for any three-letter word, okay? You could do that. So you can do that with chords as well when you get used to their groupings, okay? So that's the second step, is understanding inversions. That's why the F chord is written this way. Now, if we look at the C chord, so let's see if you smart people can figure out what inversion that's in, because it's not in root position. When it's in root position, it's nice and neat, stacked like that. See how the AC is stacked and the GBD is stacked real easy? Well, that one's not stacked. So I go to the C chord, C major chord. Get it pulled up there. All right, so there's the CEE, CEG, root third and fifth. Is it first inversion? It is not. It's second inversion, GCE. Okay, they're just switched around. So yeah, understand root third and fifth, understand inversions, but the main thing you got to remember is that there's CEG. And notice I didn't say GCE. I always say CEG because that's how I think of it in my mind and how you should think of it in your mind. All right, so when we look at this C chord, GCE, it's played right here, GCE, and it makes it smooth, okay? So if I start at the beginning here and we just play from one chord to the next, let me see, I got to switch pages for this to work good. Okay, then we can see what we're doing. We have an F octave in the left hand, an ACF in the right, which is an F chord, FAC. We go to the next one. See how smooth that was as far as how close the notes were? GBD is right next to it. Now this one is a little different because you have a C chord, but there's an E on the bottom. That's what that means. It's still a C chord, guys, but you have an E bass, which gives it a different sound. If that E were not there, you'd just play, you know, a regular C in the bass. But this gives it a different sound, doesn't it? It kind of sounds more powerful. GCE. And then you have the A minor, and then the GBD to finish. Okay, so that's what that means. I'll call them compound chords, where you have a different letter on the bottom than the name of the chord. Okay, it's still a C chord because it has CEG, but they're just telling us that there's an E in the bass in the left hand instead of a C. So now the step 3, and we are going to play, okay? We're kind of going through the ropes here, showing you some basics, then we're going to do a lot of playing, so just hang in there. Okay, so now we're going to do practice the chord changes, because a lot of people, anyone actually, can play a chord. Once you're on it, you can play it all day, but can you get to it? Can you have your hands off the piano and go boom, ACF for that first chord? We're looking at this one right here, okay? And I made these chord sheets for you guys. You're not going to find them anywhere else. Okay, ACF in the right, F octave. And I know I just have one F there, but I think it makes it simpler to think about and having two notes. You just know it's an octave. Okay, and then ACF in the right. Now, the next one is A minor. Excuse me. Okay, so you need to practice getting to that A minor. Okay, of course you can, just go to the A minor, but what you need to practice is the change. This is why a lot of you never get faster or feel like you can put stuff together, because you're not practicing the thing that you're missing, which is the change. Okay, if your hand kind of goes up in the air and you go to get to the next chord, forget it. You got to go boom. You got to do what I call stick the landing. You got to go right to it, and to be able to do that, you've got to practice the change back and forth. So if we practice F chord to A minor, now go back over and over till that's just an easy thing for you. You get that change down and you practice the change, not the chord, but the change from one chord to the next. Then you'll never have any trouble again going from that one to the next one. And you take it with you to another song that has F and A minor, which a ton of them do, which most of them are going to, similar type changes. All right, then we're going to practice A minor to G. All right, so again, this is the third step. Practice the change. A minor to G. I'm going from this one right here to this one. And that one's easy because everything just moves down one key. A minor to G, over and over. Practice the change. Now practice changing all three. Don't worry about rhythm yet, just the change. Just those fingers locking in. And we're not doing this. We're not playing, no, because then if you keep doing that, you're practicing all that extra junk you don't need. Practice this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? Make yourself, force yourself, require that of yourself to go straight to the chord and stick the landing. Okay? Then we practice G to E, or G to C, the same way with E in the bass. Practice that change. Okay, and then you practice these others the same way. You practice the change. That is step 3. Step 4, finally, we're going to get to some rhythm and play the backing track here with it. And again, I'm going to have that backing track playing later so you can just play with it, okay? So let's get to the playing the intro here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play only one chord, and I'm going to wait till it changes, and then I'm going to play the next one. I'm not going to worry about going... I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to change the chord on time. I'm going to play these chords that are written, I'm going to play them one time, and I'm just going to change on time. Okay, so let's do that here. Get my keyboard connected again, my pedal. There we go. Okay, so here we go. We ready? We're just going to play one chord for each change. Here we go. And I'm going to get this follow button working right. It's the last thing I do. Here we go. All right, we're going to continue. So what I did there is I just played one chord every time I needed the chord, and I waited till it was time to change, and then I change at the right time. That's really going to help your rhythm, okay? And that's what you do here on this intro. And then the next thing, the next step we go to, after you can do that, don't move on to the next step till you can do it, okay? But that step 3 is to practice those changes. Or step 4, actually, practice the rhythm, okay? When you're practicing the changes, you don't have to worry about rhythm. But when you do just like I did with the backing track, when I play it for you later and you're doing it, make sure you can change on time. Okay, step 5 is we're going to put quarter note rhythms with the track. Now we're going to play the chord, but we're going to play it more than one time. We're going to keep going with quarter notes. Dun, dun, dun. Done. Just like, you know, a clock ticking, you're going to stay right with it. Okay, that's your next thing. And if you can do the step before it, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so let's try it here. Start the track over, and I'm actually going to do this intro twice, okay, so you can really get it. And I really want this button to work, and I forgot to get it ticked up right. Okay, let's try it again, and go. So I just played the chord in quarter notes till it was time to change. Okay, and if you're a counter, you can count stuff, that's fine. But at the end of the day, musicians don't do a lot of counting, we do a lot of feeling. We just feel the rhythm. And if you can already feel this rhythm, don't bother with counting. Just feel it and play it. Okay, so you notice that, you know, I did 3 counts on this one, and then I did 1 count here, you know, 4, 4, and then 1, 2, 1, 2. That's all fine, but we just feel it. We can feel when the chord changes. So that's the next step, that step 5, getting those quarter note rhythms with the track, playing with my backing track that you're going to do here in a little bit. All right, now finally we can move to the verse. All right, 1,000 generations. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that quarter note step here as we do it, okay? Let me switch to the verse here, backing track. 2, ready, go. 1,000 generations falling down in worship, sing a song of ages to the Lamb. 2, 3, 4, and all who've gone before us, and all who will believe, sing the song of ages to the Lamb. Okay, now I did a lot there, but everything I did, you already know. Every one of those chords was, the F, A minor, G, C. They might have been in a little bit different order. The C chord, if you noticed, didn't have an E on the bottom, so you just put a C on the bottom in that case. Okay? All right. Now we move to the pre-chorus. Same thing. We're going to just keep playing those quarter note chords with each one. All right, and this is the pre-chorus. And I'm going to play all of these in the backing tracks one at a time, tell you what they are, count you off so you can play with the video. Okay? 2, 3, 4. Your name is the highest. Well, I messed up, so let's try again. Forgot my rhythm there. 2, 3, 4. Your name is the highest. Your name. Forgive me, but now my foot missed the pedal. All right, now we try it again. All right, let's see if I can get it this time. A lot of buttons to push here. 2, 3, 4. Your name is the greatest. Your name. Now I didn't go back far enough. All right, didn't go back far enough. Now we got it. See, I'm making mistakes. Everyone's going to make mistakes. And what you do is you just fix them and keep going. Don't start over. Just keep going, okay? If you keep starting over, then you're going to keep practicing one piece, one part of the song, and you never get to the rest of it. All right, so I'm leading by example here. We just keep trying to move on. Your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest. Your name stands above them all. Your name stands above them all. Okay, finally got that going the way I wanted to. Now we need to look at a chord here. See that chord way over there? D minor 7. Okay, so that D minor 7, all right, DM7, is D minor, first of all. So let's go to our thing here, D minor 7. All right, so we have our regular D minor, which is our DFA, Oreo cookie style. When you add a 7th, okay, any 7th, I don't care what chord it is, if it has a 7 there, all it means is you're adding an extra note to that Oreo cookie. That's all you're doing, an extra note. And it's going to be in thirds, just like this. It's just a bigger Oreo cookie, okay? You got another layer, okay? You really want some sweet, so you add another one. And it's called a 7th because it's 7 letters away from the D, not 7 notes. D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You can see how chords are built on thirds, 3rd, 5th, 7ths. All right, these intervals are a third apart. So a D minor chord is going to have a C in it, D, F, A, C. Now, even if you're not great at naming the 7th chords yet, if DFA is all you can do right now, that's okay. If we're adding a 7th, you can say, okay, it's DFA, and I'm adding a C to it. That's fine to think of it that way. But when you play it, okay, typically what's going to happen is the left hand has to be considered when you're playing the chord. So what usually happens in the seventh chord in praise and worship is your left hand plays that root note, okay? And then the right hand takes the other three. F, A, C. So I'm playing it that way. That's how it is on at the very end. On the right there, you can see that. It's lighting up. A, C, F. It's like the F chord we did. It's like an F chord and you got a D on the bottom if you want to think of it that way. But typically when you have a seventh chord in praise and worship, that's what you do. The left hand takes the octave and the right hand plays some inversion of the rest of the notes. Okay, so left hand has D and the right hand will take the A, C, F in whatever order it wants to do it. It takes the leftovers, so to speak. Okay, so that's the pre-chorus there. And then we move to the chorus and we continue on. Let me change my track here. Let me see if I can get all this lined up and do it the first time. I don't know. Let's see. And the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy, you are lifted high. D minor 7. Holy, holy forever. All right, so there's a new chord. All the rest of them we've already done. So once you can play that intro, you're set for the verse and the chorus pretty much. The D minor 7 was a little curve I threw you. Here's another little curve, but it's not hard. It's called a C sus4. Okay, you're going to see those all the time in praise and worship. Sus4, I'm going to explain what it is, and it applies to any other chord. Once you learn it on one chord, it applies to all the rest of them. It's no different. Okay, so if we pull up a regular C chord, C major, we can see C, E, G. The sus means suspended, and it's called sus4 because what we're going to do is take this third of the chord, the middle note, and we're going to suspend it to an F note. And it's instead of C, E, G, it's going to be C, F, G. We're suspending it higher, and then many times it'll resolve and go back down to C, E, G, which it does. Over there, it's kind of blocked by the keyboard, but it goes C, E, G, and then, or it does this actually. It's an inversion of it. But if we look at a sus4, okay, there it is, C, F, G. That F right there is a suspension of the E. Okay, it's just going next door for a second and then it can come back down. Sometimes they don't come back down, but it's always called a sus4. You're just taking that third of the chord and doing that. Now, when you do an inversion of it, there's F, G, C, and then we do it one more time. Now you can see what we're playing up there because that's what we're playing, G, C, F, because I'm playing my C chord this way in this inversion. And that F, so that, see, it's always the third of the chord that suspends, the E, the middle note when you're in root position. C, E, G, E's the middle note. That's the one that's suspending. And so when I put it like this, the E's up here, it's suspending to F and coming back down. That's where the suspension comes from. So when I play these last two, or if I start here, okay, next one. And if I play rhythm to it, holy forever. Okay. So what step are we on now? We're going to the next verse. We're just going to keep barreling through. And this is we did the pre-chorus. So I did the steps for verses, step 6, step 7 was the pre-chorus, 8 was the chorus, because most songs are going to have an intro, a verse, a chorus. Not all of them have a pre-chorus, but praise and worship does a lot of times. Kind of a little section that's not the verse, but it builds you up before the chorus. Okay? A lot of times it has that. And so step 7 was the pre-chorus. Step 8 was the chorus we did. Step 9 and 10 are kind of intermediate advanced stuff. So if you are just a beginner and you're barely hanging on doing the chord changes or playing the quarter note thing, don't require this of yourself yet. I find most people get frustrated and quit, not because they're stupid or they can't do it or they don't have any talent. It's because they're trying to jump up to the top when they haven't done all the work in the bottom and the middle levels, okay? When I say bottom, I just mean, as far as skill level goes. A lot of praise and worship players are just playing those quarter notes and they never do anything else and they're just fine. The guitar's handling the rhythm. You got the drums, the singer. You don't want to do more than just the quarter note chords. But if you want to do more, I'm going to show you that here in steps 8 and 9, or 9 and 10 actually. Yeah, and then we're going to have the backing tracks for you where you can play along with the whole song and practice along with this video, just playing in the background. Okay, so here's some advanced techniques, and I'm going to use this next verse to show you that. So you've already done the basic quarter note thing, okay? What you can do is this. I call it soft thumbs, where you play your thumbs of either hand as eighth notes in between, but you got to do it softer. It doesn't sound right. If you've been forgiven, if you've been redeemed. See that? I'm playing my thumbs. They're in between. Now, if you don't do it soft, it sounds like this. Sounds to jackhammer, softer. And some of you are going to go, oh, show me exactly what to play in each place. No, because if I do that, you're not going to have that rhythm come out from you inside, okay? You've got to turn on that inner drum machine that we all have by just trying it yourself. I'm trying to teach you the skill of doing this, not just feed you something that you're going to be a copycat robot and just spit it back out and never learn anything. You can't take it with you somewhere else. You only know how to do it on this song and you don't really know what you're doing. I don't like that. I want you to learn how to do what I'm doing. And I play it different every time because the music is just coming out of me on the spot, okay? And I feel different every moment. And the same can be true for you. So just try that soft thumbs method if you're ready for that. If you're an intermediate or advanced player, instead of just straight, just 2 and 3. Yeah. If you've been redeemed. So let's do the soft thumbs method on the verse here. Get that backing track pulled up. So I'm not going to use the follow because it's going to go nuts. Well, it might work and when I change. Let's see if it works. All right, here we go. So here's this next verse. We're going to do the soft thumbs for step 9. If you've been forgiven, if you've been redeemed, sing the song forever to the Lamb. If you walk in freedom, if you bear His name, sing the song forever to the Lamb. All right, then we have the pre-chorus, which comes next. I have a little small excuse for messing up here. One, I have my lesson shoes that I usually use, and they're thinner, and I got my big hiking shoes right now, and it's hard because I got pedals on the piano. I got pedals to turn the pages, and I'm kind of losing track down here. So that's my excuse. Anyway, here is not a pre-chorus, but it's just a continuing of the verse. That's what it does. Okay, so let's just continue. I'll just play it. So forever and amen. 2 and 3. And then we go straight to the chorus there. So a little curve there. Doesn't do the whole pre-chorus. I think the pre-chorus comes back later. But now we're going to do the chorus that follows that. And we're going to do a little more advanced rhythm. So you do the soft thumbs. There's another way to do it as well. And I definitely got to take the follow function off now because it'll go nuts, all the stuff I'm going to play. So besides just doing this straight, and the angels cry, holy. And I tried to really put, because I had to put the lyrics in here, and I wanted to make them line up. I really tried to get them lining up right where they change for you guys. So hope you appreciate that there, that they're lined up so you can tell where they go. You can do more rhythms than that. And the angels cry. What am I doing there? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm playing the drums on the piano, okay? And what you have to do to get to that point, I found the best way is just to crank the song up, let it play in the background, get on a table, get a pair of bongos. That's the best way. I know some people who've bought some bongos, and it's fun just to and what it does, it takes away the having to know what chord you're on and what the next chord is and where to put your fingers, and you just work on the rhythm part, which is what you need. We're so concerned with what key I'm going to play that we can't think about the rhythm too. It's brain overload. So if you just do the bongos, you're only thinking about the rhythm. That's why drummers and guitar players have such an easy time when they go to the keyboard doing rhythms, because they're used to doing it already from strumming and, you know, banging on those drums. So if you'll just work that part of your brain, that's rhythm. Dun, 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 dun. We've all done that when we were kids. Anybody can do that. Just crank the song up and start going. Whatever rhythm that comes out is good. It's going to work for you. Okay, but that's that next step. That's that next advanced thing you can do in step 9. Kind of, you know, A and B. A was the soft thumbs, and the B part of step 9 is the more why don't we get the backing track going here? I like having that behind me. Feels like I'm really in a praise and worship band. And the angels cry, holy, all creation cries, holy, you are lifted. E minor 7. Dun, 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 ba, ba, ba. Can you do that with your mouth? It sounds silly, but dun, 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 dun. If you can do it with your mouth, you'll be able to do it with your hands. And if you can do it with your hands, you'll be able to do it on the keys once you learn what those chords are. And if I just try to hand feed you every different kind of rhythm you could possibly do, it's not going to work. It's got to come out of you. So you got to have that time, just you and your piano. Once you do the bongos and the beating on the table and all of that, just playing and letting those rhythms start to come out of you. And they will if you'll do it long enough, okay? If you'll practice that long enough. So that is advanced rhythm, step 9. Now, step 10 is licks, okay? You can even throw licks in there. And if you're playing in a praise and worship band, the more players there are, the less you get to play, okay? The less players there are, if it's just you and a guitar player, you can do a little more. If it's just you, you can do all you want. Here's a lick I like. This is the chorus repeating, so I get a chance to do this. Hear your people sing. Holy. Forgot where I was in the song. So here's a lick I like to do. Hear your people sing. Holy. You ever heard that lick? I call it the country third. And it's really cool, and it works in everything. Country music, rock music, pop music, praise and worship. It's just really cool. It sounds like this. And you can just throw it in there in your chord. And it's just for advanced players. So I'm just going to tell you what to do here. Whatever chord you're on, say you're on a C chord. C over E, doesn't matter. You put your thumb on the name of the chord. And we're going to do hook 'em horns. Now, if you're not a hook 'em horn person, that's okay. All right, but that's the only thing I think of when they do the hook 'em horns. Those 2 fingers, and you flip to the middle finger. Works on any chord. Let's do it on an F chord. Put your thumb on the name of the chord, hook 'em horns, flip to the middle finger. Then I have the C chord. I go F chord. A minor works. G. I can bounce octaves. That's another thing you can do. for advanced players here in step 10. We're getting to those backing tracks in just a second, but I want to have something for everybody, very beginners, and then something for you intermediates and you more want to be advanced players to do. And this thing is called octave hopping, okay? So if I hear people sing, I was singing the wrong notes on the lyrics. Now hear you people sing. Okay, I got it. All right, so we're going to do the chorus again here. Okay. And I'm going to see if I can get this going. And when I octave hop, I'm going to go, hear you people sing. Holy. See, all I did, guys, is I played the same chord that's already here. I just octave hopped and I played it here and then maybe go back down whenever I want to. But you can just go up there and grab an octave and come back down, and it sounds really cool. Let's do that. I'm going to do the octave hopping and the advanced rhythms at the same time on this, if I can get it all together and do my foot pedals right. Let's see. Hear your people sing. See what I did there? I did the octave hop. I did the soft thumbs and the beatboxing rhythms on my hands. And you can immediately sound like an advanced player once you get those techniques down, okay? But it's all taken from this very simple, 3-note chord idea when you're playing. Okay, so we did all those licks and everything. It's time to get to I should finish the song, so why don't I finish the song? And then we'll get to those backing tracks. Your name. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna just go back to the simple chord way. Okay, so you guys can see that again, but we need to finish the song. See if this works here. This is that pre-chorus I was talking about that was coming back. Your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest. Your name stands above them all. All thrones and dominions, all powers now advanced and positions. Your name stands above them all. Your name. Anyway, all right, so stands above them. Yeah. So we do that pre-chorus for a while there. So it's all stuff we've done. Then we have the chorus again. Let's go ahead and end with the chorus. I think this is the last part. Okay. And here we go. And the angels cry. Backing track is gone. Then the King of Kings, holy, you will always, D minor 7, holy, holy forever. All right, and then it does another D minor 7, holy. That's the end. There we go. All right, now it's time for those backing tracks, okay? So hopefully in this you got those 10 steps. Want to make sure you have them before we do the backing tracks. Chord spelling. You got to be able to spell the chord. A, C, E, G, B, D, C, E, G. you got to know what an inversion is. You don't have to think about which inversion you're doing every time when you're playing it, but know that the chords can be played, a 3-note chord can be played 3 different ways in the hand, and they all feel the same. Okay, a root position chord feels like any root position chord. First inversion, second inversion, same thing. Then practice the changes. Practice from one chord to the next. The change, not the chord once you get there. Anybody can do that. Practice the change from one chord to the next over and over again. All right, then we start to add those quarter note rhythms. Tick, 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 tick. And then you try the verse, pre-chorus, chorus, because usually in praise and worship music, you're going to find all the chords in the verse. You're not going to have any, or a lot of times the intro, you're not going to have any new chords. It's usually pretty simple that way. Verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Then when you feel like you can, start adding some more advanced rhythms, those techniques I told you, where you do the soft thumbs, and then playing the drums on the piano, and then that lick. There's lots of licks. I just showed you that country third one that goes a long way. I use it all the time. Never get tired of hearing it, okay? And then here we go with those backing tracks. So here's what you can practice with, all right? Since you don't want to look at my face on that, I'm just going to start at the intro. Here's the intro. It's repeated twice, so you can practice the intro over and over. So here's the intro. Here goes. I'm going to count you off. 1, 2, ready, play. All right, here's the verse. You ready? Here's the verse. 1, 2, ready, go. Here's the pre-chorus. 1, 2, ready, play. And here's the chorus. All right, 1, 2, ready, go. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. A lot of information in there. I don't know if I delivered it that well, but if you'll get it, it'll really help you in your praise and worship stuff. And I'm teaching you to fish, not just giving you a fish, so that you can do it. You can grow as a real musician and learn how to play from any chord sheet. Once you get going, you're just off to the races, and the sky's the limit. God bless you. Hope you had fun.